Welcome to the debut episode of the Force of Fandom Movie Talk. Because the Force is fandom. The movie talk with lots of rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and a Mad Max. And you, because you're not my fans, you're not my followers, you're my equals that love Star Wars and love to talk about movies. So, please join in the conversation below. And I will ask you time to time on this series the number one thing we want to talk about on this series, and comment below. Rian Johnson's trilogy being canceled or never being a thing, and Kathy Kennedy being fired. Comment below and celebrate. And don't let anyone tell you different, because it is the Force is fandom and the Force of fandom that stop these two fools. And it's going to be a staple in the series. If you boycotted, say, I helped fire Kathy, I helped cancel Rian's trilogy. Because that's what we're not hearing anywhere, and it's a reality. You wanted things official? Go somewhere else. I don't listen to Lucasfilm official because it's a bunch of BS and marketing magic. If you wait for the official word, it'll be too late and you'll be swarmed with mediocre Star Wars movies. That's what you'll get officially. And we need to stay on target and talk about Rian Johnson and his trilogy that is never happening. And that's what I'm including in the title of this video. Do you viewers think he is throwing a Tico tantrum on Twitter because he knows it's not happening after Solo bombed? And his one possibility of ever working on Star Wars again, Kathy, is also on her way out. Because I do. That's what I think. And I also think that is why random Star Wars writers are having a Tico tantrum. They can't, and the industry just can't admit that the customer has the power. Poking the bear, kicking the hornet's nest, and fueling the fires of racism is the way to beat it. That's what these fools are doing. Yeah, there is a fire of racism in the world. Don't pour fire on it. Don't poke the bear. That doesn't help anything. You're more responsible than the common sense channels and the people you're having a Tico tantrum about. That's right. You're more responsible. We're just trying to have a conversation. What happens when you add fuel to the fire? Ryan, Paul Kemp, and Chuck Wendig? Do you put it out? Or does the fire spread? Do you add to it? There is an adult and a way to address what happened to Kelly Marie Tran, but it's still unconfirmed what really happened, and condemn harassment. And you're not doing it. Without adding to the problem. And forced diversity is a legit issue around Hollywood writing rooms. Cough, cough. Story groups that don't do their jobs sip soy lattes and decorate their cubicles. That's why all these movie universes are failing, except for Marvel with Kevin Feige. You know why? Because they're SJWs. There is a minority group that you're not representing. Fans and people that care. You just care about your following and how you're perceived on Twitter. People that care. They insert characters that are not developed and boring. The race, sexual preference of a character becomes it. And that doesn't benefit minority groups. Giving minorities characters does. Not minority being a character. That's what we want to talk about, and that's why you're avoiding the subject, and that's why you're throwing a Tico tantrum. Because you can't admit that you can't write a well-developed minority character for true diversity, true representation. Well, at least not Rian. Not minority groups being a character. That's a failure on writers, and Rian's writing for Last Jedi was horrible. If you go back to some of my very first videos, I speculated that they will not announce his trilogy canceled. There will just be endless announcements of new projects. Or they will say he chose to work on something else, and Lucasfilm thanks him for his job on The Last Jedi. Another white male has a Tico tantrum. And you know what? There is another white male problem, and it's these fools. Paul Kemp joins in, and he isn't stopping, and neither is Chuck Wendig. And I'm going to go over some of, because Paul Kemp has been going on and on. He hasn't stopped since the last. Go check out his Twitter. He invites you to, actually. And I'll get to some of his tweets. Send me some better trolls, internet. The dumb ones are boring. Is that poking the bear? How does that help anything? Seriously. Because there's a lot of people just stuck in the middle of this junk that just want to enjoy themselves and enjoy Star Wars. How does that help anything? Is it really hard in the future to be nicer to racists, misogynists, and homophobes? Kidding, I won't. But your blanket statements about people that don't like The Last Jedi, or blanket statements of people that bring up the issue of just SJW issues in entertainment. And there is a discussion there. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be diverse characters. But you're oversimplifying the situation for your benefit and then poking the bear afterwards and putting up your shield of superiority and junk. And then trolling trolls. We know what you're doing. Bringing attention to yourself. And then he says, off with you now, like he won a big battle. And that's because, and here's some more of his comments, and that's because those who use the terms do so often to prettify their racism, sexism, homophobia. No, we just want to have a conversation without shutting it down, being called racist as soon as we bring it up. That's the reality. You bring it up, you're shut down immediately. Have a conversation, examine the situation, because it's not cut and dry. There's many shades of gray, and it's a growing problem in an entertainment issue in industry. And it's not to say that we shouldn't have diverse characters, but the character should come first. Minority, sexual preference shouldn't be a character. And that's what a lot of the pushing is. So if you're one of those people, again, just move along. But then in a previous tweet, he says, send me better trolls, and calls them dumb and boring. And then he says, bye, Felicia, bye. Okay, another white male SJW should never use this term. If they do, I question whether they themselves are an incel. And I know he is married, but he is acting like one with those comments. Yes, this person's comments are silly, but that's the point, Paul S. Kemp added. And I love this tweet by this tweeter. This tweet nailed it. I'll take this as a compliment from a man who looks like a serial killer, and it turns out he's just another shill jumping on the fan hate bandwagon. The SW Titanic is sinking. That's true. The Star Wars SJW Titanic is sinking. And here he admits he was wrong. Okay, so with this tweet, he admits his previous tweet was garbage because it's a blanket statement about everyone that brings up the term. And now he admits that it was an incorrect statement. Listen, it's true that not everyone, all caps, who uses the terms SJW, politically incorrect, forced diversity, etc., are raging alt-right loons. But those terms are often just code for awfulness. They're words people use to mask and prettify some horrible beliefs. So if you don't hold those beliefs, perhaps considering using different words. Are you the judge of everything? No. You can have a conversation, intelligent conversation, without calling people racists. You're jumping to conclusions, not the other way around. Me, I'm done all playing pretend with folks that use language like that. And then here's the tweet that got him the most attention. There are probably some followers of this feed who use the term forced diversity, SJW, or politically correct, or whatnot. If you're one of them, unfollow me. I don't merely disagree with you. I find you contemptible. a detestable human being. And then he went on. I lost the last part of his tweet there. So he says that, and then he admits that everyone that uses it is not a alt-right loon. So I was just starting to make this a hot topic and decided to roll it into today's daily show. And here's where I was working on the hot topic, and this is how it was going to go. The SJW white male opportunist epidemic. Average people latch on to movements for monetary gains and to avoid obscurity. This is why the issue is so rampant. These writers lack imaginations, latch onto movements, and retell real-world issues. Do something original and you always have a job. Don't kiss the ass of diversity. Let diversity speak for itself. Let minorities speak for themselves. You are culture appropriationists and lamos and major queer baiters. Another lazy trend of Hollywood and novel writers. They can't even get diversity right, representation with stereotypes and hollow representation, and queer baiting. That's what Rian did. He gave a bunch of stereotype characters and hollow characters. Asian fangirl, Finn being the black guy comic relief, wrapped up in a black and Asian girl relationship, and Holdo, a female chauvinist feminist. Another white male is a problem, but it's another white male SJW problem. Yeah, real warriors for social justice, trying to demean white men, even though they are them, and the reality is they also fear being replaced. And they should, because a lot of them are average at their jobs, but make up for it with politics and networking. Why do we always hear from another white male? About another white male? I'm guilty of this too, because I'm talking about these other white males. Incels have a lot of expendable income. You don't want it, Disney? That is the new term to attack paying customers. I have had it in my comments section for plenty of vids since the last Lucasfilm Tico tantrum. And you really think there's a big market for people with regular sex lives in Star Wars novels? Star Wars novels! I'll say it again. You should be marketing towards incels. They will eat that up and keep coming. Coming back on me. Now I'm going to go on to some other topics because I want to cover multiple topics in the series. Rumor. Star Wars actor claims 9 movies in development, including more Star Wars standalone movies. Translation. There's no news here. D.B. Weiss, David Benioff, 3 movies. Rian Johnson, 3 movies that are never happening. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, and Episode 9. There's your 9 movies in various stages of development. There's nothing new here, and I doubt highly that all 9 of them are going to get made, especially in this situation. Probably more like development hell because of the disaster of Solo. That is why I make videos. There is zero news here, and in development means nothing. Rian Bergman, still hoping to be busier soon, including outside of Star Wars, considering Rian made 4 movies in 12 years. Yeah, that's a prolific director. And you know what? I have the Looper Blu-ray. I enjoyed it. It wasn't amazing stuff. And I bought it before The Last Jedi because I wanted to support the new director. I wanted to support Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars supporter that's had enough in the last straw. I buy lots of Star Wars merch. I buy lots of Blu-rays. Well, I used to. And I buy the toys, collectibles, figures. Not anymore. There's a big change in me over this past year. And I was all on board for Rian until I saw it. Now, I've never seen Brick, and the Brothers Bloom was a disaster. And I rented it because people were raving about it, and I don't see it. It was a mess to me. And then, of course, Lucasfilm under Kathy doesn't do the most obvious thing to help fans and help everyone right now in creating a social media policy for its employees. It's 2018. I don't know how entertainment businesses are so behind the times. The most basic thing to help wrangle this crap in is to have your employees obey a social media policy and not to piss off customers. And some other topics I was going to talk. Now, Well, it may never be organized, this Daily Show. But here's some other topics I was gonna do, but I'll just to made the Daily Show and not a full hot topic. I haven't made a video on him, but Mark Riley's rant about trolls was trolling and poking the bear, and he is more responsible for Star Wars internet hate, being continuously poking the bear while ignoring true criticism of Star Wars on the Movie Talk and mailbag shows. The best thing I could say about Mark is his dog is cool. I like Cow, and that's about it. Other than that, he's boring, and he would probably bend over backwards to write for Star Wars or be included on the Star Wars show or something. Look at his IMDb. He's a writer, and he would do anything to get a next writing job. Oh, yeah, and what's with all the facial hair on these these white SJW males that are throwing Tico tantrums? Are they trying to prove they are still men by growing it? Do they maybe have a man-baby complex? They keep talking about it. I'm not a man-baby. I can grow facial hair. Well, I figured out why. Look at Ryan without facial hair. That is a man-baby. So, I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to talk to you in the comments. You don't have to follow me anywhere. Join in the conversation. And this is why I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for much. When I need it, I'm going to ask for it. Please leave a like and rate this video and say if you want a daily show. Because I want to do both. I've tried it before. It never works. I hope it works this time. The Force is fandom, and may the Force be with you always. See you in the next one.